Thank you, Chris, for that introduction. Thank you, Donna, for your leadership and for inviting me here today. My goal today is to scare you. And then you have this great panel that's going to tell you how to improve your cybersecurity. But let me just try to explain to you how easy it is for you and your businesses to get hacked. Last year, 60 Minutes called my office and they said, hey, we want to have your boss's cell phone. And my staff said, great. So what happened, instead of taking my own cell phone, they were nice to me. They brought an Apple iPhone, gave it to me. I opened the box. I took the iPhone and they said, keep it for a week. And I was in LA and I was in DC and they said, we're going to try and hack you. So after a week, I went back to the interview. First thing they did is they played back recordings of my conversations with my chief of staff, with other people I called on the phone. They showed me everywhere I traveled, even though GPS was turned off. They can also acquire text messages in real time. And it was quite disturbing and creepy to see this happen. The hackers were in Germany, and I was in the United States. And the reason that this happens is something known as the signaling system number 7 flaw. It's SS7 for short. So if you just Google SS7, you'll see all sorts of articles about it. And what happened is, many years ago, when they set up telephone networks, they set up in such a way that every telephone network was assumed to be a trusted network. So let's say you wanted to call someone in Africa. Your USA network might hand off to a European network, who then hands off to the African network. We know today that some of these networks can be owned by countries like Russia, North Korea, Iran, or criminal syndicates.
You had to mention Russia.
So if you simply have a telephone network, you can access anybody's conversations in real time on their cell phones, just knowing the cell phone number. It is a very serious problem. So 2 days after 60 Minutes ran this, the FCC launched an investigation. They recently completed that investigation a week and a half ago. Senator Wyden and I issued a letter in response to that investigation. We thank them for what they did. We think there's a lot more that needs to be done. But one thing that needs to be done is the entire telecom industry needs to start putting in better firewalls to try to fix the SS7 flaw. And right now, there's no good fix. The only thing to protect yourself would be to use encryption. So there are a number of encryption applications you can download onto your phone that are free, such as WhatsApp or Signal or telephone. And if you use encryption, then if a hacker accesses it, or a foreign government, there's not much it can do with the encrypted data. Only problem is the other person has to be using the same app that you're using. So it's a little bit hard and annoying, but the more people we can get using these apps, the safer we will be as a society. I've started to use WhatsApp with my staff right now. So the chances of you or your company getting hacked by a foreign government or a criminal syndicate associated with foreign government are not high, unless you're a company that deals with national security or defense-related matters, for example. So there's much simpler ways for hackers to get the contents of your cell phone that doesn't require them owning a telephone network. It's through what's basically called social engineering. 91% of successful cyber attacks happen because of social engineering. And what that term means is that you or your employee takes an action that is something a hacker wanted you to do. So in fact, you're being tricked. So you either get a phishing email or a phishing text. When I mean phishing, it means a email or text message that is false, that's fake, that says it's something what you think. Maybe you're going to Amazon's website or you're downloading some picture, when in fact what you're actually doing is clicking on malware. And it's very hard to prevent, so you have to really train your employees quite well. I serve active duty in the Air Force. I'm still in the reserves. The military has caught on to this, and we caught on to this many years ago. So we have entire units and teams just dedicated to try to trick us. And then they tell us how they tricked us. So we're always encountering different phishing emails. We have to go through annual cybersecurity training. We have to go through refresher training. We get briefings on this. We get updates. I can guarantee you that most businesses don't go to that level. And it just takes one employee, right, to click on a phishing email, and all of a sudden malware enters your system, and they can do lots of damage through that malware. So you can use encryption, you can try to do training, and you yourself try to not, click on phishing emails. And then the third thing that you can do to try to protect yourself is really make sure that if you suspect that there's a problem or someone's hacked your system, contact law enforcement, contact the FBI.
I wonder what he would have to say about Kevin De Leon and his family members that use false IDs.
Tell you how to protect yourself and also how to contact them. Or you can call my office and talk to my field representative, Wes, and he can connect you with law enforcement if you think that someone's breached or entered your system. And the last thing I want to say about how you can protect your employees and yourself from being hacked is to almost never use public Wi-Fi unless you're very certain
He's
that
very
Wi-Fi
nervous.
is secure and you know what it's called. So for example, if you're at LAX, would you know if the correct Wi-Fi was called LAX or LAX1 or LAX_1? I have no idea, which is why I never used
This is not even an issue. There's
Let's say
only
you
one.
click on one of those Wi-Fi things that pops up, and let's say it's LAX1, and it turns out that that's fake. It could be a hacker sitting 20 feet away from you who has set up this fake Wi-Fi system, and you wouldn't even know it because it will look to you just like the LAX website. And when the minute you click on that and your Wi-Fi connects, within a second, the hacker will have all the information on your phone. So that's one of their sort of easiest ways, again, for criminal hackers to get access to your information. So my advice is to never ever do that. And the last thing to think about is, in the 21st century, many of us don't just work as cops at work. And I know that in government, at federal agencies, and our own House of Representatives, they spend enormous amounts of resources, time, energy, money, to protect our desktops and to protect our servers. And they do some really great things. They relatively do a pretty good job protecting those networks from being attacked. And then they allow
Good
us
luck
to
for the
work on this
DNC.
thing, right? That's connected to that desktop. And they do no protection on this, none. So if someone hacks this phone, they become me. And then they are in the House of Representatives email system as me. It'll be a while before I or somebody else figures out that they have done that, and they can do a lot of damage. Republican Congressman Lieu and I were so freaked out about this last term that we sent 2 letters to our colleagues, to staff and members of Congress saying, hey, no one protects this. So here are the steps you can take to try to protect your phone, to do better cyber hygiene, and make sure that you're just aware that all these resources protecting your desktop does not apply to this mobile device. And mobile devices are now the weakest link in many cybersecurity systems. So the good news is, because of the efforts of Will Hurd and I and other members, the House of Representatives CIO office has
He's
now
nervous.
signed a contract with Lookout, a company that is now going to start protecting mobile devices of House of Representative members, staff, as well as the members themselves. We're trying to get other federal agencies to do this. I was on the Oversight Committee last year. We held a hearing where we had different CIOs of different federal agencies. CIO is Chief Information Officer. And I asked the question, I said, do you let cell phones to connect to your server? And if you do you protect the cell phone? So some of the federal agencies just don't allow that to happen. So that's good, that's very secure. Some agencies will only allow a government-issued cell phone with all sorts of protections on it to connect to the server. That's relatively good. And then some agencies just do whatever, and they let people to connect through their cell phones. And I remember this one agency did that, and then I said, so do you protect the cell phone? And the person said, that's not my responsibility.